Good evening, everybody, and welcome along. It is the second leg of the UEFA Europa Conference League semi-final between Strasbourg and Rayo Vallecano. France against Spain for a place in the final in Leipzig, just a couple of weeks away from now. Facing, of course, the winners of Crystal Palace and Shakhtar Donetsk in the other semi-final. It's the Spanish side who hold the advantage coming into this second leg game against Strasbourg. Alamau's second half header has Rayo Vallecano 1-0 up on aggregate and 90 minutes away from their very first European final. Strasbourg, however, have been excellent in this competition, finishing top of the league phase and unbeaten at home in this competition. They do possess the firepower to turn this around, and they, like the last round where they overcame a 2-0 deficit against Mainz, will have to do the same if they want to see themselves in the final as well. So a cracking atmosphere inside the Stade de la Manu as both teams prepare to come out on the tunnel. Both Gary O'Neill and Inigo Perez have shuffled the changes from the weekend, as you might expect. 8 changes for Strasbourg, 6 for Rayo Vallecano, as their focus is firmly on these 90 and possibly more minutes that separate them and the final. Reaching the end of a long European campaign that began way earlier at the start of the season. Just one game to go until the final, and then another 92 potential silverware. Like I said, a narrow victory for the La Liga outfit in the first leg. A 1-0 victory on the outskirts of Madrid. Just beyond the German border into France, though, their task awaits them, as we are just awaiting both sets of players out onto the field of play. A light show going on in the stadium, ready to greet the two teams out on the pitch. Strasbourg have had one of the top attendances of all clubs in this competition this season. And again, you can expect a really good atmosphere. A very young Strasbourg side, average age of just 22 of this team, this starting 11. 3 20-year-olds, 2 21-year-olds in the starting lineup against this more than experienced Rayo side, who will come out on top. Both teams now coming out of the tunnel and making their way out onto the field of play as we approach kickoff. Local time, near 9 p.m. in France, and a sea of blue greets the players. Obviously have had some unpleasant fan interaction, have the Strasbourg players this season, more so to do with the board. Obviously unpopular ownership linked with Chelsea in that blue coat group, of course. They lost their manager mid-season, Lemur Senior. He's no longer in charge of Strasbourg. It is fellow Englishman Gary O'Neill placed in charge. And what a credential stamp this would be for him to bring Strasbourg through to a European final, having only been appointed mid-season. But Rayo will be no easy task to get through. Very competent, very grizzled side under Inigo Perez, who know exactly what they need to do to reach the final. So just as the two teams greet each other on the halfway line, let's run through the starting 11s for both sides. Starting with Strasbourg, who are, of course, without their skipper and key attacker Emmanuel Omega. He's out with a hamstring injury. Their top scorer, of course, as well, Joaquin Panichelli, also out for the season due to an ACL tear. early indications are that Strasbourg would start with a back three, but it appears it will be, in fact, a back four. So it will be Mike Penders in goal, the 20-year-old Belgian on loan from Chelsea. A back four then of Guela Doué, who saw his brother Desiree reach the Champions League final with Paris Saint-Germain last night, hoping to emulate that. Skipper Ismail Doucouré alongside Andrew Omabamidele, next to former Champions League winning left back with Chelsea, Ben Chilwell. In the middle then, Valentin Barco will be joined by Samer El Mourabi, with, we expect, Abdul Ouattara occupying the central role just slightly further forward. On the wings then, Diego Moreira, exciting Portuguese talent, alongside Julio Encise, former Brighton and Hove Albion man, with Martial Godot leading the line. For Rayo Vallecano, meanwhile, 6 changes after their 2-0 win at Getafe at the weekend. Augusto Batalla retains his place in goal. Andre Ritu, Florian Lejeune, Pate Cis and Pep Chavaria across the backline. Oscar Valentin captained the side alongside Unai Lopez in the middle of the park. Issy Palazon, 6 goals and assists in this competition in the number 10. Elias Akamash, one side. Top scorer for the season, Jorge de Frutos on the other, with Alamo, the man whose goal has been the difference in this tie so far, leading the line. Strasbourg, of course, in their home kit of blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. Rayo in their changed kit of red shirts with a black trim, black shorts and red socks. So massive game here in Strasbourg awaits as we get ready to go. A reminder, the other semi-final, Crystal Palace leads Shakhtar Donetsk by 3-1. So the Premier League side in control of that contest at the moment. But we will try as well to keep you as up to date as possible on that clash as it goes along with this one. So it will be the visitors who kick us off here in this semi-final tie. They hold the advantage. Can they see it out? The narrowest of leads going into the second leg. Shooting from right to left. It will be Issy, number 7, for Rayo Vallecano. Over 200 appearances for the club after joining in 2020. And servant he's been. And we are off. Long ball forward down this right hand side. Doué tries to win it in the air and lofts it toward Diego Moreira, sent up into the Rayo half toward Julio Enciso. It comes back toward the halfway line. Enciso touches a bit heavy, allows Cis to come in there for Vallecano and play it off the Paraguayan and win a throw-in for his side, just inside his own half. And it will be Pep Chavaria, the Spanish fullback, to take. Back to the feet of Cis. Now Lejeune, former Newcastle United man, out to the right hand side. Ratu down the line again. Here's Akamash, comes inside onto his right foot, tries to find a teammate, only finds Doué, and now here's Doucouré back to his centre back partner in Andrew Omabamidele. After playing his trade at North City and Nottingham Forest, as the ball spun out to the left hand side, and Ben Chilwell has the first chance to scamper into the Rayo half up on the left hand side. Plays it wide here. Chance for Godot to run at Ratu. Martial Godot goes one way then the other, and then eventually back towards Chilwell. Omabamidele again, just on halfway, no way to really go ahead of him, so it's back at the feet of Mike Penders, highly rated Belgian goalkeeper, on loan from Chelsea, of course, part of that Blue Pro group. Now Penders comes out to the right hand side. It's Doucouré. Good press from Rayo. It's just the back four keeping hold of it now for Strasbourg. Omobamidele again. Ventures up toward halfway. Looks ahead of him. Finds the feet there of Ouattara. Layoff is a bit loose. Might allow Valentine to nip in, but it breaks for Decore, who can drive forward with a bit of purpose. Plays it infield. And Ciso, 25 yards from goal. Little drag back onto his left foot, doesn't quite work out. Finds Chilwell though. Here's Godot over on the left hand side, taking on the fullback toward the end line. Godot trying to get beyond Ratu, but the Romanian stood his ground, won the challenge well. And Rayo can counter here. Gamash out to the right hand side. Ratu has continued his run. Alamau in the middle. If he can cross it in, he plays it against Chilwell. And it will be the first corner kick of the game. Really good counter-attack that was from Rayo after defending that scenario. Marshal Godot blocked down by Ratu, who ended up winning a corner for his own side at the other end of the field. So here comes the corner kick. It will be Unai Lopez to take. Lejeune and Cease are up from the back. You see an option right along the sideline. Swung in by Lopez, away by Decore for Strasbourg. And it will be a throw in over on the right hand side. Not the greatest delivery there from Unai Lopez. Want to make sure his set pieces, are slightly better than that going forward. Throw in over the far side, taken short. Ratu comes back in. Here's Lejeune. And now Cease, deepest Rayo player, back inside the centre circle. Over to Ratu again. And Lejeune once more. Infield. Here's Valentine, the skipper. This time it's Rayo's turn to just hold on to possession. Cease plays it forward. Valentine again on halfway. Nice ball out to the right hand side. Ratu forward once more. Into the middle. Issy just about gets hold of it after the pick out from Lopez. Now a chance. Akamash, low driven cross into the box. Comes to the back post, but good tracking back from Godot to get the challenge in. And now switched over toward Moreira on this right hand side. One in the air by Chavaria. Cleared into the stands by Doué under a bit of pressure from Frutos, but will be throw into Rayo. Switched out to this left hand side again. Nice first touch from Chavaria forward, looking for teammate, can't quite find him. And it's there for Pate Cease. Out to this middle, is he? Further on for Chavaria. Taking on Moreira. Right foot across into the middle. It's a easy enough save for Penders. Straight down into his gloves. And Chavaria just holds his hands up, apologising. And it will be Strasbourg ball again, trying to get it forward early to Godos, who sort of peeled away. And unfortunately, it will be a misplaced pass and a throw in for Rayo over the far side. Lejeune. Lejeune again, switch of play out to this left, Chavaria. Looking forward, finds Issy. Now Chavaria again. Been a late change to that Rayo lineup. Actually, Espino is in instead of Akamash. Looks like along the left hand side, so apologies that we didn't pick it up beforehand. Out to Chavaria again, nods it infield. Barco can get hold of it in the middle, but then a loose touch in there from El Morabe allows Issy to seize onto it. And Rayo have it once more. Over to the right hand side, trying to get forward now is De Frutos. He's gone past Chilwell. De Frutos towards the end on low cross into the middle. Oman Bamadele took a heavy touch and then challenge on Alamau. Rayo appeal for a penalty. Referee waves it away. Still there. Ball into the middle towards Alamau. Header saved by Penders. Early opportunity for the Brazilian. It's still there though. Issy receives the ball to feet in the penalty area. Oman Bamadele in front of him, and then he's brought down. But a question is being asked of Ivan Kruzliak, our referee today. We see the incident again. We'll see the chance first. A really good save from Penders. Alamau rose well, and it actually comes off his shoulder as he nods away. So it will be a free kick. But first shot on target, 7 minutes gone, goes to Rayo. Breaks now in the middle though for Strasbourg. Is Godot trying to make something happen, runs into Espino, however his pass is loose. And Strasbourg can gain possession again with Penders and Bamadele. Forward now, looking for Enciso, trying to bump off Valentin. Ball is given away by the French side again. Here's Chavaria. Now Cease. Now into the feet now of Issy. Information of that late change. It is Pacha Espino instead of Ilyas Akamash. Pull out after the warm-up. Rayo in possession again. Lejeune, big switch of play from centre-back, looking to this left-hand side. Doué in the way. Penders out of his goal to clear with Alamau lurking over toward Moreira. And Ciso can't quite get hold of it on halfway, and it will be a throw-in. So, good start to this game from the visitors here. Really positive opening from the Spanish side. And it's Strasbourg who certainly look more nervy as Doué just drops the shoulder, powers past Espino, who brings him down. And free kick is given. Switch of play over to Decore at the edge of his own box. Heavy touch and he's given it away. Here's Valentin, slips it to his right. Chance of a shot, it's over the bar. Another big opportunity for Rayo. It's Jorge De Frutos. Decore careless in possession just outside his own penalty area. Valentin picks it up, slips it to his right, and De Frutos one touch inside the penalty box and then flashes it over the bar. Penders didn't look too close to it at all. And it's still scoreless, but Strasbourg living dangerously here. Long ball up from Decore towards Godos. Can't quite find him, and then Issy coming back the other way for the visitors. Tight along that touchline, holding off Decore. Chilwell puts a challenge in. Issy goes down holding his face. Referee stops play. I don't know if he's given the free kick. There's a physical challenge from the English fullback. Just leant in to Issy. Does seem to catch him near the face, but it'll just be a stoppage in play, it looks like. Inigo Perez must be delighted with what he's seen so far from his side. Charge back in 2024. To European football. Free kick taken short, swung into the middle, headed away that time by Doué, picked up here by Cease along the left hand side. Searching ball to the back post, and he's nearly picked out Lopez. Good challenge in there from Godot, doing his defensive duties for Strasbourg. Godot now trying to drive out from his own area, and then his switch of play towards Moreira doesn't work, and it's straight out over the sideline for a throw-in. Strasbourg looking frazzled in this opening 12 minutes or so. Now really trying to pose themselves on this and almost put this tie to bed, you could argue. Or close to it at least. Out to the left hand side, Chavaria forward from left back again, feints the cross and then slips it down. Espino, low ball into the middle. Bamadele is there to intercept and find Barco, who just gets shoved to the ground as he looked to clear it. Unai Lopez with the challenge. But again, it is Rayo. The one searching for that opener in this game. Out to the left hand side, Doucouré now. Bamadele inside his own penalty area again. He's closed down really quickly by that Rayo press as he tried to play it out to the right. Comes off Lopez and it will be a throw in, but Strasbourg under real pressure in these opening exchanges. Doué with the throw infield toward Moreira, 20 yards from his own goal. He's given it away straight to Issy. Shot is blocked. It comes back out. Espino low cross into the box and then De Frutos couldn't quite send it back. Strasbourg eventually get it away out to the left hand side. Goddo infield now to El Morabe, on further by Doué, and now El Morabe again. Ouattara comes deep to get on it. Bamadele over to Valentin Barco, further forward for Ouattara. Good challenge in there though from Unai Lopez, and Rayo have won it back again. First touch really for Augusto Batalla. Long kick out from him. One in the air by Doucouré. Put up in the centre circle for Rayo. Now here's Lejeune. Infield to Lopez. Lejeune again, and now Cease. And Sisso's turn to press the Senegalese defender. And then Batalla, nice ball to the feet of Issy. Chavaria now. Nice spell of possession this for Rayo. Early into the feet of Alamau. He's gotten the step on the defender, back to Issy, searching ball forward from him, but he's off target and it's straight out over the end line for a goal kick. Penders go short. This is where Strasbourg have struggled, playing out from the back, and Penders eventually forced to go long, but he's found Ouattara, who lofts it over the top. Moreira now, he's the wrong side of Chavaria for the first time. Rayo wanted offside flag. Chavaria got the challenge in regardless. Batalo clears into the middle. Well, one in there by Valentin. Chilwell and De Frutos battling for it, and Rayo who have possession again. Issy now. Valentin once more in the centre circle. Back to Lejeune. Not about to switch play over to this left hand side, but keeps it simple to Lopez, and now here's Cease. 15 minutes played, no goals here. Closest either side have come as an Alamau header. Penders clawed away. Lejeune once more. Now we will go long out to the right hand side, looking for De Frutos, but again it's a poor passes. Tifo and the Flares go up away to the left. The Strasbourg fans behind that goal. Ben Chilwell with the ball in his hands. And he's just getting a bit frustrated, I think, with the lack of options ahead of him. Now eventually throws it in, looking for Enciso. Beyond him, Moreira can't quite get hold of it either. And possession is turned over again. Espino. Lopez out to De Frutos on the right hand side. Squared up Chilwell, and then carries it back infield. Valentin on halfway. Lejeune just into Cease, and now Chavaria, nowhere to go for him, so back to his goalkeeper. They've had an okay record on the road in this competition, Rayo. 2 of the 5 games they've played away from home were wins, as they flick it on there towards De Frutos. Bamadele just beaten to it by Alamau, and free kick conceded. Rayo looking for a yellow card, but free keeps them in his pocket for the moment. Alamau just nicking in front of Bamadele right as the pass was played. So It is a free kick. And another chance for Rayo early in this game. Free kick is quite central, about 45 yards from goal. Lejeune, who's going to hit it from way out, and a really speculative effort, you'd have to say, from the French defender. He's, as I said, a good 40-45 yards out, just lined it up to strike it, but it's nowhere really near Mike Penders' goal. Bit of a waste of an opportunity there for Rayo. Goal kick for Strasbourg, and they're going to go short again. Rayo have 5 players within 30 yards of the Strasbourg goal. Bamadele goes short to Penders, who clips it out to this right-hand side. Moreira trying to flick it on toward Doué, beaten to it by Chavaria, and it will be a throw-in to Strasbourg. Yet to get going in this game. No shots on goal. As Enciso receives the ball to feet, tries to spin around Cease, but Valentin is there to put the challenge in as well, and now Espino just about gets his pass away under pressure from Barco. That's you now on the right hand side. Now Cease once more. Ciso in front of him. Go back to Bataya. Clipped into the middle, and he's picked a teammate out. Well, the goalkeeper, but Alamau gets mixed up, and Strasbourg win it back. Lovely flick around the corner from Moreira, and he's trying to power past Chavaria. He has Moreira, ball into the middle. Gatto was in there. It's put behind for a corner. Moreira G's up the crowd. First real bit of intent we've seen from the home side to get forward. Powerful running from Diego Moreira. Right footed ball into the middle. Gatto was waiting for it, but Cease in the way. Puts it behind. Moreira just too strong for Chavaria on that occasion. Corner from this right hand side. Valentin Barco ready to take. Be an in-swinger with the left foot from the Argentine. As Strasbourg wait. Line of blue shirts at the penalty spot. In towards the 6-yard area. Barco delivers near post. Tries to get the flick from Bamadele, who did get a touch, but it's behind for a goal kick. We'll see it again. Chilwell and Espino both tangling in the middle, both hitting the deck. Last touch off Bamadele, though. Just trying to flick it on at the near post. Couldn't manage to do so. 20 minutes gone. No goals here between Strasbourg and Rayo Vallecano. Here come the away side. Down the left. Chavaria finds Issy. Lovely ball to Espino. Into the middle now. Unai Lopez thought about the strike. Tries to play it out to Ratu on the right hand side. Gatto, though, had tracked back the whole way. Intercepted. And now Penders can clear out to this right hand side. Moreira again trying to use his strength to get beyond Chavaria, but won't be able to control that. And it's out for a throw-in. Strasbourg just looking to find a foothold in this game. After a nervy opening 20 minutes, you'd have to say. Lejeune now for Rayo. Switch of play to the left again. It's too close to Doué, who has time and space to control it. And play it back to Penders. Nice ball into the middle. Now here's El Morabe. Haven't really seen himself or Barco get a foothold, and he's given that away. El Morabe straight to Cease, who in turn finds Issy at the edge of the box. Tries to turn, but Strasbourg bodies were around it, and they turn over possession. Here's Enciso coming all the way back into his own half to get out the ball. Chilwell now. Doucouré is the option in field. And back to Penders once more. Rayo working really hard off the ball to force Strasbourg into errors. Playing out from the back. Here's El Morabe. Long ball forward, looking for that dink over the top toward Doué, who'd made a great run from the wing. Well read and cleared by Lejeune. Now knocked down by Valentin into the middle. Lovely little layoff, and now here's Espino driving down the left-hand side, cross into the middle, but again, straight at Mike Penders. Espino proving a lively threat after only being a late change in the game. Valentin Barco now from the edge of his own penalty area, out to the left-hand side. It's the Strasbourg skipper for the night. Doucouré, of course, their club captain, Emmanuel Omega, out injured, hamstring. He'll be joining Chelsea in the summer. And here is Doucouré. Ciso coming short. Doucouré will keep it himself. Chilwell has come in field to be an option, but it's a loose pass there. It's straight to Unai Lopez, but that's a poor delivery from Chavaria. He only finds Omobamidele, and Strasbourg in possession once more. Penders clips it out to Doué on this right hand side. Doué hasn't really gotten forward, but he's picked a nice ball to El Morabe in the middle, who drives forward, finds to find Moreira, but again Valentin was there to make the challenge. It breaks to Doué, still there for Strasbourg. Valentin Barco now 35 yards from goal, dinks one over the top. Moreira made the run, but then just lost his footing as the pass was played by Barco, and it will just be the goal kick. Just look at that space in behind Chavaria, but didn't quite work out. Goal kick for Rayo Vallecano. As mentioned, they came back, Strasbourg, in the last round, 2-0 down to Mainz from the first leg, won the home tie 4-0. Really convincing home performance in that second leg. Unbeaten at home in this competition as well. Rayo on the last round had won the first leg against AEK Athens 3-0. 3-0 down early in the second half before Issy got the goal to send them through. 4-3 on aggregate. So potential for some drama as De Frutos takes a brilliant touch around Chilwell, who just drags him by the jersey down and wins a free kick, and it's a yellow card for Ben Chilwell. Can't really have too many complaints about that one, can the Englishman? Just got done for pace, with De Frutos knocking it by him. Cynical drag back. Ben Chilwell, 29, is by far the oldest player, outfield player, and including Penders in goal for Strasbourg. 6 years between him and the next oldest. Combination of Godot, Doué and Omobamidele. Free kick from the right hand side. They go short. Issy, 30 yards from goal. That's a strike. It's just wide. They nearly catch Strasbourg out. They go short. Issy gets it out of his feet. Left footed effort. Flying towards the top corner. It bends outward and just wide of Mike Penders' post. What a hit that would have been. Rayo wanted a deflection, but it is just wide. But what a goal that would have been from Issy if it had gone in. And they've won it back in the middle once again. Valentin on Enciso. Here's Cease now, right on the halfway line. Issy. Crystal Palace have gone 1-0 up, and they have 1 foot in the final. 4-1 up on aggregate against Shakhtar Donetsk. Still all to play for here though. Doucouré for Strasbourg. Inside his own half. Clips it down the line for Godot, who came all the way, lost his footing. Referee says play on. Issy now slips it to the right hand side. De Frutos running at Chilwell on the yellow card. Just drives it against the Englishman, and it's behind for a corner. And De Frutos will fancy his chances now up against Ben Chilwell. Again though, Strasbourg giving the ball away in their own half. They've had real difficulty playing it out from the back in this opening half hour or so. As we see Chilwell getting in the way of that one, and seems to be feeling the effects of it his left foot, but he's back on his feet now, and here's a chance to get this ball into the middle from the corner kick. Lopez to take. Lejeune and Cease amongst those waiting inside the penalty area. He goes short again to Issy on the end line, trying to work the angle. Issy up against Ouattara, lays it back. Now the cross comes in. It's deflected. Cease though, back to goal, controls it, tries to turn and hit it. It deflected and loops up into the air, into the grateful arms of Penders. He tried to start that counter, but Alamau was in the way. Penders goes down. Alamau claiming he dived. And then referee Ivan Kuzliak just having a word with the two of them. Herrera with the block on Cease, as we see it again. Alamau just a little nudge into Penders as he was running out of his goal. Free kick is the decision on the field. Here is Penders again, and he's giving it straight to Alamau. Really poor ball, trying to put it further forward towards Issy. It's eventually cut out. Comes back though to the edge of the box, saved by Penders. It was the strike from Unai Lopez, but Mike Penders almost playing his side into real danger. It's still there. Alamau, little ball around the corner, back to Alamau, inside the box. Strike is blocked again. Rayo still pushing forward. Good challenge in there though from El Morabe. Barco, Moreira, El Morabe again. There's a Rayo player down outside the box. We'll play on though. Barco just out-muscled off the ball, but referee says illegally so by De Frutos. Free kick given, but Mike Penders, a very, very lucky man, trying to play it out to the right-hand side towards Barco. It's straight to the feet of Alamau. His ball towards Issy, though, was read by Omabama Dele, but Strasbourg just unable to clear their lines. And that Rayo press is causing all sorts of issues for Gary O'Neill's side. And now it's a poor pass from the Rayo goalkeeper. Batala fired it straight at Ouattara. And then Ciso trying to make advantage of it, but he was offside after Ouattara played it. It was Lopez with the strike afterwards for Rayo, following that move straight at Penders. Well, that's two saves they forced him into, along with that Issy effort just wide. But Augusto Batala, a lucky man there, just trying to clear his line straight to the foot of Ouattara. But Enciso, as mentioned, in an offside position from the clearance. So both teams nearly just makers of their own downfall there. Throw into Strasbourg along this right-hand side. Doué down the line for Enciso. He's done really well to spin Sis down this right-hand side. Can he get a cross in? Lejeune across though to make the challenge. Really good play by the French defender to win it back. Espina now forward. Alamau takes it back to goal. Omabama Dele behind him, gets his layoff to Espino. Brilliant ball infield. Issy has time and space to turn in the centre circle. Looks ahead. Just retraces his own steps and finds Lopez. Here's Valentin as Rayo slow it right down. Cease. Just inches into the Strasbourg half. To his right is Lopez, who's been everywhere in these opening half an hour or so. Lejeune stepping forward. Here's Ratu. And they're forced to go all the way back to Betaya. Valentin, deepest player for Rayo. Betaya again on it. And we'll go long. Nice first touch there from Alamau on halfway. Plays it out to his right hand side. Valentin back in field to Lopez, and Lejeune works it out to this left hand side. Cease gets it out of his feet and finds Chavaria. Goes down there by Moreira. Gets back in field to Unai Lopez. Lopez now looking ahead of him. Goes long out to the right hand side. De Frutos the target. He's picked him out. Lovely first touch from De Frutos. Infield now for Ratu, who's supporting him. Down that right hand side, plays against Chilwell, wins a throw and taken quickly. De Frutos now inside the penalty area. Had a chance to pull it back, went himself and fires over. Big opportunity that Espino was waiting for it on the penalty spot if he just got his head up. Jorge de Frutos. But it's wide. And another chance goes begging. And it's been all Rayo in an attacking sense this half, you'd have to say. No shots at all from Strasbourg. Already 4 on target for Rayo. At the moment, only looking like one winner, but a long way to go. Lofted over the top now for Espino to chase with Doué, and Doué almost got lost underneath it, but did well on the second attempt to find Penders. Clipped out towards Chilwell on the left hand side. Nodded forward toward Gatto. He in turn tries to find Ouattara, but it's straight to Lejeune and now Bataya. Into the feet of Cease. Bit of a heavy touch from the centre back, but he does well to find Valentin, who returns the favour, and they've worked it nice out to Pacha Espino on this left hand side. Chavaria in support on the overlap. Here is the fullback. And they'll recycle it back to the halfway line, and Cease and Valentin further on for Lejeune. Cease again. And here's Unai Lopez. Forward for Chavaria. Lopez continues to run and then plays the back to Chavaria. Down towards the end line. Low cross into the middle and looking for Alamau at the back post. Doucouré away. Heavy touch from Herrera on the clearance. It's still there for Rayo. Issy trying to control it at the edge of the box around Barco. Looking to get the cross in. Doué goes to ground to block. It's a corner kick. Rayo continuing their first half pressure here. Issy Palasan just forcing his way to the end line before playing it off Doué for a corner. That Strasbourg pattern of getting caught playing out from the back continuing as the corner is ready to be delivered from this left hand side by Issy. Will be an outswinger towards the penalty spot. Cease rose, headed away though, only to the edge of the box, sent back in there. It was Espino, but he never quite got hold of it. Sat up nicely for him at the edge of the box, but he really fluffed his lines. He had a bit more time than he probably thought he had. And it remains 1-0. 1-0 on aggregate, excuse me. Strasbourg fans still chanting away, supporting their side. But they are in a bit of a rut in terms of form. 4 defeats in their last 5. Obviously you could argue the concentration has been on this competition. No clean sheets in their last 5 either. Beaten at the weekend. Lovely pick out from Penders to Doué, right to the edge of the Rayo box. Now Moreira trying to make inroads down this wing. Digs it across out onto his left foot. Gatto heads back into the penalty area, and Ciso was waiting, but so was Valentin to boot clear. Barco can't control that one on halfway, but fortunately for him it breaks for Ben Chilwell. And Strasbourg have the ball. 10 minutes to go until half time. Shakhtar have pulled one back against Palace. The English side now lead 4-2 on aggregate. The referee has paused the game momentarily here. Doué is down. Just seemed to collide there in the middle of the pitch, just trying to make a run forward, and looks like it was Pacha Espino just stood in his way, and Doué went crashing into him, and now Espino's helping him onto his feet, and the two of them are exchanging words. So, a bit of a strange incident there. I think the referee quite saw it. But we'll resume play with the ball at the feet of Valentin Barco in the middle. Now Doucouré carries forward. Finds Gatto out to the left hand side now. Chilwell forward from left back. Gatto again at the corner of the 18-yard area. Goes on the outside, Gatto, but Valentin across. Really good composed defending from the captain, but he's given it straight to Ben Chilwell. Now here's Decore, just has his pocket picked by Alamo, and now the counter could be on, led by the Brazilian. Decore just bundles into the back of him, and he wins the free kick. It's brilliant by Alamo. Just caught Decore unawares as he had his head up, nicked it off him from behind, and then wins a free kick. Really, really good play from the Brazilian, you'd have to say. Defensively, and then driving his team up the pitch. Rayo in possession again. Maybe a short, shy back pass from Lejeune, but he's fine. Bataya, who pumps it clear. Doué wins it in the air. Issy sends it back out towards Espino on this left-hand side. Alamau with the layoff, but goes to ground. Referee says play on. And Strasbourg with the ball. Mike Penders now with the ball on his feet. Out to this right-hand side, looking for Doué. Chavaria in the way initially, but Doué will regather it on the second attempt. So deep in his own half is Andrew Omabama-Dele. Just gives it short to Morabe. Now to find Goddo out to the left-hand side for Chilwell. Back infield, Barco can't quite make it happen. He gets it nicked off by Valentin. They've worked it out to De Frutos on the right-hand side. Infield for Valentin again. De Frutos on the return pass. Drops back infield, finds a teammate. Ball into the middle, headed away by Omabama-Dele from Ratu. Still there as Gomez finds Valentin. Free man at the edge of the box is De Frutos onto his right foot. Strike towards goal is blocked by Chilwell. An easy gather for Mike Penders. Again, it's Rayo. Look most intent on getting forward here. Strasbourg yet to force anything. It's unusual. They 38 big chances created in this competition, third most, as Penders with a bit of a risky clearance into the middle again, looking for Enciso. Rayo have turned it over, but Cease gives it straight to Moreira, who has open space in front of him now to attack. Little ball down the channel for Enciso to chase, but again it's off target. Diego Moreira won't be too pleased with that one. Already looks frustrated. He knows he can do better than that, the Belgian. Enciso really hasn't been involved in this game at all. And behind for a Rayo goal kick. Those away fans in that corner away to the right are really enjoying themselves, and why not? They're just over 45 minutes away from booking their place in the UEFA Europa Conference League final. First ever European final it'll be. Only their second season ever in European competition, Rayo. Here's Issy now inside the Strasbourg half. Plays it out to his left. Unai Lopez. Chavaria now thinks past Moreira, but then runs into Enciso. Here's Doué. Valentin Barco. Heavy touch from him in the middle, and there'll be an outswinger. In towards the penalty spot, looking for Cease again. It's over his head. Espino goes to retrieve it on the right hand side, past Enciso. Espino into the middle, finds a teammate, it's saved. Penders, but it's in the net. It's Alamau again. The Brazilian doubles Rayo's lead on aggregate. A poacher's finish from the Brazilian. That's 2 goals in this tie for him. And Rayo take a deserved lead just before half-time. Once again, Strasbourg failed to deal with a clearance. It breaks out to the right-hand side. Espino only in the team as a late introduction. Picks a lovely cross out into the middle. It's headed toward goal by Lejeune. Saved by Penders, back out to the edge of the 6-yard box. And Alamau, the first one to react. Gets there before Ouattara and Decore and just fires home first time. Penders with no chance after initially having made the save from the Lejeune effort. It's Alamau with the finish, and Rayo take control in this second leg. And a lot to do now for the home side. Do they have a response before the break? Godot lifts it over the top. Doué's forward from right back. Doué through on goal, saved by Batalla. First effort on goal from Strasbourg comes from Guella Doué, but it's straight at the goalkeeper, trying to win a corner kick again, but Batalla smothers it. Doué again making that run from out wide into the middle, brilliantly picked out. It's a lovely first touch from Doué to set himself, but his effort went through on goal just straight at Batalla. Routine save for the Argentine, and it remains 1-0 to the Spaniards. Brilliant play by Espino to get himself out of trouble on the left hand side, but Chavaria gives it straight to Barco, who in turn finds El Morabe. Now here's Ouattara over towards Godot. Brilliant slide tackle though from Rachu to cut out. And now De Frutos coming the other way along the right hand side. Again chops back in field. And we'll slow it right down. Issy gets on the ball on halfway. Rayo will just want to see this one out until half time. And Strasbourg need to regroup at the break, because they've been really all over the place, you'd have to say, in this first 45 minutes or so, into the final minute of the first half. Cease into the middle for Valentin, forward for Alamau, who just slipped as it was played up to him, so Bamadele can play it back to Penders. Made that initial save, Mike Penders, but just put it straight back into danger. Nothing he could have done about the second. Chilwell, nice first touch to drive in field, but then Cease steps in front of Enciso. Referee brings it back though for a foul from De Frutos on Chilwell, right on the halfway line. Good battle going on between those two. There's Valentin Barco now inside his own half. Of course, he's been transformed into this holding midfield player this season at Strasbourg. Fullback when Brighton signed him from Boca Juniors. Here they come forward though, Strasbourg, and Ciso can't quite get it out of his feet, and possession is gifted away. And now Espino leading the counter, plays out to the left hand side. Alamau has space in behind. Moreira trying to get back to put a challenge in. He finds Espino again, low cross into the middle, but El Morabe was there to just get in the way for Strasbourg. 1 minute of additional time at the end of this first half. Strasbourg 0, Rayo Vallecano 1, 2-0 to the Spaniards on aggregate here in this Conference League semi-final. Decore now. Here's Andrew Bamadele. Forward for Doué, who's gone closest for Strasbourg this half. Lofts one over the top, searching for Moreira, but too close to Batalla. And an easy take for the Rayo goalkeeper. And that just may be the last action of the first half. Ouattara goes to press him before he picks it up. But almost a perfect first half for Inigo Perez's side. Really dominated proceedings, and there is the half-time whistle by Ivan Kruzliak. Strasbourg 0, Rayo Vallecano 1. Alamau's goal is second in this tie after 41 minutes. The difference between these two sides today, it's been all Rayo. Really, they forced some good saves out of Mike Penders. Alamau to Frutos. Issy going close from range as well. Lopez too. Strasbourg have been at 6s and 7s, trying to play their way out, and they finally got their reward, the away side. Strasbourg failing to deal with a clearance. Espino down the right hand side, digs across it, finds Lejeune, whose effort is initially saved by Penders, but Alamau in the right place at the right time to tap home the rebound. Doué with Strasbourg's only effort on target a few moments after the goal, but Rayo have more than deserved their half-time lead, and they're 45 minutes away from their very first European final. Half-time score, Strasbourg 0, Rayo Vallecano 1. The Spanish lead 2-0 on aggregate. We'll be back for the second half in about 10 minutes. Welcome back for the second half, everybody. Strasbourg already out on the field of play. Gary O'Neill has had a quick half-time team talk with his side, and he's not hanging around. Sebastian Nanasi will be coming on for Ben Chilwell at the break. So a bit of a reshuffle. Chilwell, of course, picked up that yellow card early on in that first half. So he is off, and an attacking change with Nanasi on in his place. We'll see how that affects the shape. Nanasi on the score sheet in their last time. Rayo look to be lining up the same with Bataya, Ratiu, Lejeune, Cease, Chavaria at the back, Valentin Lopez in the middle, Issy, Espino and De Frutos either side of the goal scorer, Alamau. Penders in goal for Strasbourg, Doué, Omobamadele, Decore, and now Ouattara at left back. In the middle, Almarabou and Barco with Enciso and Nanasi forward, Moreira and Godot either side of them. So what do Strasbourg have in response? They have 45 minutes to stay in this competition, otherwise it will be Rayo Vallecano heading to Leipzig for the Conference League final. Here's Decore on halfway line. Here's Almorabe forward for Barco. Lovely forward pass over the top for him. Is Godot down towards the end line. He stayed onside, Martial Godot. Going to pick the right pass, thinks it towards Ouattara. It's cut out that time, but he receives it back again. Finds Barco. And Ciso now turns 25 yards from goal, out to his right hand side. Doué trying to beat Chavaria to get a cross in. Still on it is Doué. Played into the middle. Barco further on from Moreira. And Ciso's layoff doesn't quite work out. It's cleared up towards Alamau, but he's crowded out by Omobamadele and Decore. Here is the Irishman on the ball now. Back as far as Penders. And now Nanasi gets his first involvement. Forward for Godot. Back out to Ouattara. Marabe again. And Ciso now receives a defeat in the centre circle. Gets around one challenge, but is crowded out once again. So Rayo in possession once more. Bataya out to this right hand side. Tried to be flicked on by Batu, but it's intercepted by Ouattara. Hooked forward by Nanasi, and it's found its way out to Godot along this left hand side. Needs options in the middle. Dinks across to the back post. Header on goal from Moreira, but it's wide. Chavaria just about did enough to lean into Diego Moreira as he leapt to head it. That's better from Strasbourg though. The two wide players in Godot and Moreira linking up on that occasion. But just still not bothering Bataya, who's only had one save to make so far this game. Late in that first half from Doué. But Strasbourg have come out with real pace and intensity, as you'd expect. And Bataya has just put that one straight out of play from the goal kick. So possession with the French side again. Decore square to Omobamadele. Ismail Decore once more. He's pressed by Issy again. Rayo doing really well, trying to force that Strasbourg tactic into difficulty, but they managed to escape. Decore, nice layoff from Nanasi out to Ouattara on this left hand side. Back for Decore. Strasbourg need 2 goals to just force this to extra time. Reminded I came back from 2-0 down from the first leg last time in the quarterfinals against Mainz. 3 second half goals to turn the tide. Decore now stepping past Issy into the middle of the park. Out to the left hand side looking for Ouattara, but Ratiu in the way, and now Valentin just lays it out to the left. Here's a nice layoff from Alamau, and Chavaria has a chance to drive forward. Moreira tracking him the whole way. Moreira bundles into him and wins it. Really good play from Diego Moreira. Now he's trying to find a teammate. Switch a play out towards Goddo, but well read by Rashu, who's been really excellent at right back. The Romanian. And Bataya clears Alamau the target again. Doué wins it in the air. Up forward towards Moreira. Breaks in the middle. El Morabe. Nice ball forward for Nanasi, who receives on the half turn. Drives forward. Here's Goddo at the edge of the Vallecano box. Goes down. Referee says play on. Goddo back to his feet. Can't quite pick the pass out. And then closes down the clearance. Marshall Goddo just a bit frustrated there. He did well to get back to his feet following the challenge from Rachu. And now potential worry here for Strasbourg. Looks like Diego Moreira is down. Wouldn't be a player they'd want to lose. But just held back to his feet. Seemingly got a knock. 5 minutes gone in this second half. Rayo Vallecano still lead Strasbourg by a goal to 0. And are at the moment on their way to the Conference League final against, at the time of speaking, Crystal Palace. So they've won it back here. Rayo. De Frutos now carrying it to the edge of the box, lays it to his left. Is he with a chance? Strike is straight. Appenda's tapped over the bar. Is he going so close? Once again, Strasbourg giving it away. It's Decore this time. De Frutos with the driving run, just squares it to his left. Issy with the effort from the edge of the penalty area. Penders had to be alert, taps it over. I think was always rising anyway. But it is a corner kick. And you feel a second Rayo goal here may just put this tie beyond doubt, even with the majority of the second half left to play. So here comes the corner. Unai Lopez from the right hand side into the middle. Lejeune gets a touch and it's a massive chance that's missed. It's De Frutos. It's Lejeune who gets the flick at the near post, and De Frutos unmarked at the back from 6 yards out on the half volley, blazes over the bar. That could have been game, set and match there from Jorge De Frutos. But he's leaning back. Penders, rooted to the spot, was going to get nowhere near it. But De Frutos blazes over. And it's still just 1-0. And could they come to rue that as Barco scampers forward? Challenge from behind from Lopez. Referee says he got the ball, and now they're coming forward again. Lopez leading the charge out to the left hand side. Here's Espino. Back to the halfway line, Cease, and now Valentin is an option in the centre circle. The Rayo skipper gets on the ball and looks forward. Out to this right is Rachu. Down the line for Issy, gets it back, and Rachu can carry toward the edge of the Strasbourg penalty area. Still going, Rachu lays the De Frutos on the right hand side, challenged by Ouattara. Corner kick. Rayo picking up where they left off in the first half. Jorge De Frutos looking dangerous, but what an opportunity that was for the Spaniard just beforehand. They have another corner from the same side here. Can they force it again? Palace have gone ahead once more through Ismail Assar. They lead 5-2 on aggregate against Shakhtar. 2-1 on the night. 1 foot in the final for them. Lopez in towards Lejeune again, but this time Strasbourg do get it clear. Can Rayo potentially join Palace in the final? They have it on this right hand side, although Lopez made to work for that ball. Rachu, here's Lejeune, and now Cease stepping out of the defensive line out to the left hand side, picked up by Espino, and Lejeune again. Rachu on the halfway line, pressed by Ouattara, so it goes back to the French defender. Bataya, right footed clearance toward Alamau. He chests it down towards Issy. Good strength there, and now trying to get forward is Chavaria in a foot race with Omobamidele, who comes back and gets the tackle in. It's still there for Chavaria. Chance of a cross back infield onto his right foot. Omobamidele there again to cut it out. Good defending. Time from the Strasbourg man. Now here's Almorabe. Long ball forward looking for Enciso, who has been fairly anonymous in the game so far. Julio Enciso. Now the quality he has as he just hauls Cease down to the ground. Perhaps a sign of his frustration. One of the players on the pitch who will feature at this summer's World Cup with his native Paraguay. First World Cup in 16 years for them. And Enciso hoping to be a key part of that, but for the moment, focus is on this. Long ball forward from Bataya. Again, Spino trying to get him behind. Doué wins it in the air, but the second ball nearly comes for Issy. And then El Morabe with a heavy touch at the edge of his own box. Possession conceded again. Here's Rachu on this right-hand side. Faces up Ouattara. Comes back in field. Valentin. And Issy, who's been pulling the strings for Rayo so far this evening. Cease. And Lejeune gets it out of his feet and plays a searching ball down the right-hand side, looking for the runner Rachu, who stayed forward. Omobamidele and Ouattara deal with it between the two of them. Decore and Ouattara, they're pinned in a bit here, Strasbourg, but they've done well. Omobamidele and Decore get it forward for Godot, who's bundled to the fore by Lejeune and wins a free kick. Nancy short to Ouattara now. Omobamidele immediately pressed inside his own box by Alamau, but they get it out to the right hand side. Possession again conceded, this time by Doué. Issy now finds Alamau. Touch takes him back toward the halfway line. Issy once more. And now here's Cease. Start again with Bataya. Nice pick out to Rachu in the middle of the park. Lejeune on this right hand side, closed down by Nanasi, but gets it forward. De Frutos chasing it. Decore will get there first and find Penders, and in turn plays it out to Ouattara on this left hand side. Now Omobamidele at the edge of his own box. Strasbourg need to try and get something going here. Just over half an hour remaining. 2 goals down on aggregate. This Rayo defence will be hard to break down. 3 clean sheets in their last 4 games. And have shown the attacking threat they possess, as Barco does well to get around one challenge, but then gives it away once again, and suddenly it's 3-on-3. Issy slips it to his right. De Frutos through and goal. Chance of the strike, drags it wide. Another huge opportunity for Jorge De Frutos. Valentin Barco playing himself into trouble again. Gives away possession. Issy, calm in the moment, slips it to his right. De Frutos inside the Strasbourg box, just drags it way wide. But another opportunity, not as clear cut as the one beforehand. Godot now finds Nanasi and then take it down on halfway. Free kick awarded, taken quickly. Godot again. Ouattara up with them in support, as is Nanasi. Nice feet from Godot to get around Valentin. Issy puts a challenge in, illegally so according to Ivan Kruzliak. Free kick and a chance here. Free kick in a good position. Issy didn't think there was much in it, thought he'd gotten the ball first, but referee was quick to blow. So free kick on this left hand side. About 25 yards out, Valentin Barco and Julio Enciso, former Brighton and Hove Albion players, standing over this one. Might suit Enciso with the right foot to whip in towards the penalty area. They need some sort of inspiration here, Strasbourg. Playing into those ultras behind the goal away to the left. Rayo quite deep in their defensive line, in between the penalty spot and the 6-yard area. It is Enciso, steps up, low ball to the near post. It's dealt with, only to the edge of the box, blazed over. Almorabe with the chance. Not the greatest of deliveries, but they don't really clear it, and it's sat up nicely for Almorabe, but he never really had control of the strike. And he blazes it high and wide. Really, really not what you wanted in that scenario. Had time to get that effort correct, but bit of a wild effort. Long ball forward now from the goal kick. Barco wins it in the middle. Sent forward by Moreira, although referee has pulled this one back for, I think, a handball. Ouattara now crossing into the Rayo half. An hour on the clock. Decore stepping forward, looking for options. Goes out to his right hand side. Here's Diego Moreira. Due up with him. Due cuts back inside off the right wing. Tries to find Enciso. Can't quite get the better of Cisa now. Rayo on it again. Unai Lopez just gives away possession himself, but referee says that there is a foul committed in there by Moreira. It will be a free kick. Strasbourg just getting a bit frustrated here. It looks like not going their way. As mentioned beforehand, they're a very, very young side, this Strasbourg side, and their oldest player, Ben Chilwell, taken off at half time again, replaced by another 23-year-old. He automatically became one of the senior men when he came onto the field. There's Bataya now, under a bit of pressure from Enciso, gets that clearance all wrong, comes off the outside of his left boot and just sprays out over the sideline for a throw in. Due just forced back into his own half, and Amabama Dele. Penders over to Decore. Penders again. Strasbourg trying to build up from the back once more. Amabama Dele forward for Due, and then up to the halfway line. Moreira trying to make something happen. Cuts inside, finds Enciso. This time does escape a challenge and maintains possession, but then gives it away. Ceases too quick. This time for Barco. Now Spino trying to carry it down the left hand side. Valentin there too. Goes to ground under the challenge of Due before he's tackled himself by Alamau. Valentin protesting that he had his jersey pulled, and then Alamau just crashing into Due as he laid a pass off. Centre forward not giving any quarter there. Again. No need for a booking, and Ivan Kruzliak agrees. Toward Enciso, well won in the air by Lejeune. Out to the left hand side to Espino, trying to get in behind Due after a 1-2, but the Ivorian had too much pace for him and easily wins that back. Penders clips it out to the left hand side. Ouattara now forward. Helped it on to Goddo, and now they're attacking with intent along this left-hand side. Goddo skips infield, past a few challenges, trying to pick out Nanasi, but De Frutos read that pass the whole way and intercepted. Really, really good stuff there by Jorge De Frutos, and then finds Issy in the middle. Valentin now back to Bataya. There's Lejeune in the middle towards Issy. Rayo just looking comfortable in possession whenever they have it. Delightful switch of play from Issy out to the left hand side, but Moreira has done really well to nick it off Chavaria, but then Pep Chavaria goes back and puts his own challenge in. Moreira furious, thought it was a foul, referee tells him to get up. Now Chavaria driving through the centre, needs support, runs into Due but gets his pass away. Here's Cease and Lejeune Looks like Sergio Camea will come on for Rayo relatively soon. As challenge from Almarabe on Issy. You see that challenge from Chavaria on Herrera. Physical duel, and Herrera absolutely incensed that he didn't get the free kick. So Carmelo is on. And it is the goal scorer, the man who has the only 2 goals in this tie, Alamau, who is off. Carmelo on the score sheet at the weekend against Getafe will take his place. Well, Alamau, at the moment, the difference, his first half header at the near post, first leg header, in the second half at the near post, gave them the lead, and he's extended it here in the second with that rebound finish at the end of the first half. Omobamidele now over to Decore, under pressure from Issy, who just grabs him and hauls him down. So free kick. Penders out to this left-hand side. Decore does well to spin around to Frutos and create a bit of space and have a bit of an overload here on the left-hand side. Strasbourg. Ouattara now carrying forward Nanasi infield. Here is Nanasi. Chance of a strike from the edge of the box. Nanasi lays it. Moreira into the box onto his left foot. Too heavy of a touch, and Rayo can clear. That was really good football from the home side, though, along this left-hand side. Looked like Nanasi was going to pull the trigger, but went for the unselfish option in Moreira, who just overplayed it himself. And Rayo keep them out again. They come forward once more, though. Decore on this left-hand side. Back for El Morabe. Into the feet of Goddo. Trying to spin around Rachu, who hauls him back, and it will be a free kick. Michel Goddo, one of the few bright sparks in attack for Strasbourg, who are making another change here. So Gary O'Neill is taking off Samir El Morabe, and it will be Samuel Amaya on. So Amo Amaya, Englishman, as Barco delivers. Deep one towards the back post, looking for Doué. It's too deep though, and it's out over for a goal kick. So Amo Amaya, England under-21 international, came through at Tottenham Hotspur, scored at the weekend in their loss to Toulouse. Can he make a difference in place of Amo Amaya? Just the 2 goals for him this season. As Mario played out to the left-hand side, it's a lovely pick out, and they've played it in behind here. Espino has gotten the wrong side, squares it to Frutos, waiting. Penders gets a hand to it, strike from Camelo. It's a brilliant second save from Penders to keep his side in the tie. Mike Penders, a double save in quick succession. Brilliant move down the left. Ball across from Espino, looking for De Frutos. Penders stretches out to get a big palm to it, and then the rebound comes for Sergio Camelo. But Penders stands tall to keep it out. Now Strasbourg attack. Goddo receives it on the edge of the box. With the strike, it's just over. So unlucky. Martial Goddo, flag is up against him anyway. Look, brilliantly picked out by Enciso on the edge of the box, onto his right foot, looking to whip it into that top corner. But he was offside. So you see this again. Doué doesn't step up on time. Espino with the ball across. Penders down to parry clear. And then Camelo on the follow-up. Straight at the Belgian goalkeeper. It's a really good save, you'd have to say, from Penders. Gets himself across to close the space. And now De Frutos has gotten the other side of Moreira, who's come out to this left-hand side now. Moreira just about digs a clearance out. Here's Ouattara into Doucouré. Ouattara again, but they've given it away once more. The amount of times Rayo turned the ball over inside the Strasbourg half, but now Lejeune chasing that loose back pass, just about gets there before Enciso and finds Bataya, who dinks a clearance out to Rachu on this right hand side, does well to keep it in play, finds Issy, back to Rachu, and now Valentin clipped forward toward De Frutos. Moreira in the way, Nanasi down, Moreira forward for Godot. Nice first touch and little pirouette in the middle, and he's brought down by Valentin. Wants to get it going quickly, Godot, but then Enciso wasn't ready, and it's just played aimlessly over the top straight to Bataya. And at the moment, Rayo Vallecano 20 minutes from Leipzig. 20 minutes to the biggest game in the club's history. And at the moment, looking like they'll face Crystal Palace. Another English versus Spanish final after Chelsea against Betis last season. Valentin, brilliant challenge on Moreira along this left-hand side. And he's won a throw-in as well. He's been really good as the Rayo captain in the middle of the park alongside Unai Lopez. Both of them have covered every blade of grass in there. De Frutos now chasing this ball down the right-hand side. Just about keeps it in play on the attentions of Doucouré. Here's Camelo. Forced back along the left-hand side by Omobama Dele. Camelo again. Finds De Frutos. Nice touch, takes him wide. Dinks across into the middle, but too close to Penders. Easily grabbed by the goalkeeper. Okay, De Frutos had that brilliant chance inside 5 minutes of this second half. Just putting that strike from 6 yards over the bar. Rayo have had 20 attempts on target in this game, as Omobama Dele nearly playing himself into trouble. And it's off Camelo. He just tried to play it forward, looped up into the air, looked for a moment as though it was going to head towards goal, but Penders was around. What a goal that would have been, and it just bounces wide and over. Andrew Omobama Dele just a bit careless, and now Barco once more nearly gives away possession inside his own half. But luckily for him, Doué is there to pick it up. And Strasbourg will continue to build out from the back. Doucouré. Looking ahead of him. Only option is beside him. It's Omobama Dele. Head to the right-hand side. It's Amo Amayot. And now Doucouré once more. Steps into the Rayo half. Godot drops the shoulder just to carry it forward, but it's forced back. Moreira free on this left-hand side. Infield, Enciso now. Skips past a few challenges, picks out Barco, through on goal. Barco, it's a brilliant block. Can he get it on the second attempt? Bataya just gets there to palm it behind for a corner. Wonderful defending for Rayo Vallecano. Bataya is down holding his head. Valentin Barco can't quite believe he hasn't scored that. It was Enciso who picked him out, found his way in between the two central defenders, Barco, and just as he got his head up to shoot, Pep Chavaria coming in to block, and then himself and Bataya go chasing it. Bataya puts it behind for a corner, and it looks like Barco's knee has just collided with the goalkeeper's head, so we will have a stoppage in play here. But Barco, that was a big opportunity, really well worked. Enciso just drawing two Rayo defenders in, finding Barco in all sorts of space. It's a incredible block from Chavaria, who comes from absolutely nowhere to throw himself in front of it just as Barco hits it. Bataya now back on his feet here, and he looks like he'll be able to continue. But they do have a corner to defend here. Vallecano. So, what can they muster here, Strasbourg? And Ciso with the delivery. From the right hand side, it'll be an outswinger. Can he pick someone out? A host of blue shirts. Wait. Deep one towards the back post. Decore gets his head on it, but he's never really travelling toward goal, and it's behind. Decore rising the highest, but difficult one to direct toward goal. Rayo Vallecano edging ever closer. Inigo Perez's side just need to hold out for 15 minutes plus additional time here. In a comfortable position, and they've been really good, particularly first half. Had to dig in slightly in the second, but have still created chances. And are on the attack again. Chavaria, who made that amazing block moments ago, just goes back to Cease, and now Lejeune into this right hand side. Rachu, the ball infield is read by Amaya, but Moreira can't quite find Nanasi, and it's cleared by Rachu. Throwing along this left hand side. Moreira moves down to left back, down the line for Nanasi. Uses body well against Valentin. And slip it in behind, but can't. De Frutos puts a challenge in, but it's back with Nanasi, who does well. Enterprising run to the byline, closed down there by Rachu, who just gouts into the Strasbourg Ultras as he made that challenge. It is a corner though. Another chance for Enciso to whip this one in. Strasbourg approaching desperation territory here in this semi-final second leg. They're 2-0 down on aggregate. They need something. Enciso delivers towards the near post. Flicked on by Omar Bamadele, but cleared by Rayo. And now Camelo trying to get the wrong side of Moreira, who goes to ground, doesn't win it. Camelo up against two Strasbourg players, needs support, has it now along the outside, but Moreira does well to stand tall, but it might break for Issy. It does. Issy 25 yards out unleashes an effort. It's behind and over, but I think the referee has brought this back for a foul by Moreira on Issy. No, he hasn't. He's pointed to for a goal kick, it looks, but nearly brilliant counter attack. Strasbourg just about do enough to survive and keep their faint hopes alive, but they are starting to run out of time as that clock ticks towards 90 minutes. Decore approaching the halfway line. A double substitution being prepared by Strasbourg. Ivan Baliu, one of them, about to come on, as is Pedro Diaz. So here are the changes. It is Issy who's off. He'll be replaced by Diaz, more of a defensive midfielder. So Inigo Perez just looking to see this one out for the final 13 or so minutes. And second change is De Frutos as well. Another attacker on. And it's Ivan Baliu, the Albanian defender, the right back, who's on. So Perez just going ultra defensive to see this one out. Here's Omar Bamadele now, striding toward the halfway line for Strasbourg. Do they have something in them? Out to the right hand side now. Coming at the defence is Amo Amayan. He does well to draw the foul along the sideline from Espino. Good run there by the young Englishman. Direct. And it's a free kick right over on the right hand sideline, about level with the 18-yard box. So Valentin Barco standing over this one, ready to whip this one in with the left foot. Rayo quite deep defending. Last man is inside the 6-yard box. Told to get out now is Baliu as it's swung in towards the back post. Doué with the header back across goal. Bataya comes, half punches, comes out to the edge of the box. Moreira Thought about the shot, but instead finds Nanasi. Doué now on this left-hand side. Right-footed cross into the middle is blocked. Comes back out toward Moreira. Rayo just defending the penalty area. Out to the right-hand side. Barco now. Cuts back infield onto his left foot. Challenged in there. Referee wave play on, and Rayo won it back, and now the counter-attack is on. It's played to the left. Camelo, can he get his head up? Has Diaz free in the middle. Pedro Diaz just on the pitch. Can try wrap it up. Its effort is blocked. In fact, it's not blocked. Pedro Diaz. Big opportunity. Just fluffs his lines. Gets it all wrong. Almost looked as though it took a deflection as it was heading out of play. But in fact, he just doesn't quite get the contact on it. And it's a goal kick. Such a threat on the counter though, this Rayo side. But Strasbourg will need to be willing to sacrifice that. They've just 10 minutes remaining plus additional time. They've given it away again. Camelo now lays it off. Here is Diaz. Back to Valentin. Diaz once more. Clips it out to the left-hand side. Espino. And now Chavaria. And they're just holding on to possession before Chavaria puts it out of play. Espino goes down. Strasbourg just complaining about Diego Moreira was picked up a yellow card. I think it was for dissent, following a few decisions that haven't gone his way, but Spina is still down as the Strasbourg Rayo medical team come on to the field of play. So Pacha Espino will come off the field for a moment. So Rayo temporarily down to 10. 9 minutes left for the Spaniards to seal their place in the final in Leipzig against what at the moment looks to be Crystal Palace. Valentin square to Cease. Another change being readied for Rayo. Alvaro Garcia about to come on. Baliu clips it down the line. Rachu forward from right back. Finds Baliu again. Rachu once more. Nice play this along the right hand side. Baliu whips a ball into the middle. Penders rises. Penders claims. And trying to start this counter quickly. Rolls it out. Finds Ouattara. Here's Moreira. And Doucouré. Nanasi, excuse me, has come deep to get on the ball. Now here's Omobama Dele. Carries it toward the halfway line. Doucouré to his left. Here is the Strasbourg skipper into Nanasi. Heavy touch from him straight to Valentin. Now Baliu just clears it down the line, but nowhere really near Camelo. Penders out of his goal to just lay it to Omobama Dele. Ouattara striding forward out to the right hand side. Amiya now. Nice few step overs, running at the fullback down towards the end line, digs across out into the middle, headed away that time by Lejeune. Ouattara was in there, as was Enciso and Nanasi. Amiya has done well since come on. Bit of a spark along that right hand touchline. Valentin now on the ball for Rayo. Lopez out to Rachu, clips it forward for Baliu, but good tracking back that time by Godot to win it back. Looks like Gerard Gumbau and Alvaro Garcia will be the two to come on for Rayo soon enough. Godot now forcing the issue through the middle. Picks out Enciso, 30 yards from goal. Little ball to Doué. Turns, shoots from the edge of the box, but it's a poor effort from Doué. Not what that situation required. It was calm heads that were needed, and he just saw the opportunity open up in front of him. Blazed over. So here comes the double change from Rayo. There's two players down. One is Unai Lopez, and I think the other is Chavaria. Lopez is down holding his head, so he'll have to get looked after. Double change though. It is Gumbau and Garcia ready to be introduced. Do wonder ifs and buts, obviously, but if Panicelli and Omega had been fit for Strasbourg, two of their key attacking players, the difference that would have made there. They've had trouble really finding that finishing touch, just the one shot on target all game. So Gumbau is on. He replaces Espino. Of course, a late addition to the starting 11, Pacha Espino. So, Amaro Garcia and Unai Lopez is the second to come off. Really brilliant shift from Lopez in the middle. Just absolutely everywhere today. He's gotten a yellow card for taking too long to come off, Lopez. He flashed it as he was making his way over to the sideline. But it will be a goal kick to Rayo Vallecano. 5 minutes of normal time remaining. It's now or never for Strasbourg. And it's all hands on deck time for Rayo Vallecano. Bamadelli up towards Gatto. Does well to control it under the attention of Diaz, who just clips him from behind. Concedes a free kick. Wonder if we'll see a bit of gamesmanship from Rayo. Valentin has picked himself up a yellow card for kicking the ball away. Rayo skipper to prevent that from being taken quickly. Here they come forward again along the right hand side. Driving run from Ouattara just gives it away. Cleared only as far as Bamadelli. Every Rayo player within 30 yards of their own goal. Forward now for Doué. Here's Amo Amaya. Doué once more. They try to attack down that right hand side. Amo Amaya steps past one and then another. Really good stuff. Here's Barco, clips one over the top. Moreira in behind, gets the header back across the goal, but Chavaria is there to boot clear. It's a Rayo player down in the penalty area. Referee sees it but plays on. Decore gets on the ball. Now the referee stops play. Gary O'Neill's furious on the sideline. It's Baliu's down. See it again. He was the one that Moreira beat in the air. Shoulder slightly touched off the fullback's head. So, referee pauses play. Strasbourg will have to wait. You'd imagine there'll be quite a lot of additional time. At the end of this one, Strasbourg may not be dead and buried yet. Here's Valentin Barco, near halfway. Delivers a low ball into the box. Cease. Just for a moment hesitated on the clearance, but then let it go. He must have gotten a shout from behind him because it was Doué and Amo Amaya who were sort of lurking at the back. It never really looked like it was going to reach them. But just for a moment there, it was a bit nervy. Batalla seems to have picked up a yellow card as well. So that's 3 yellow cards in the space of a few minutes for Rayo. Batalla now getting told to hurry up with the goal kick. He'll just clear it into the Strasbourg half. Doué wins the header for the hosts up near the halfway line, and Ciso tries to control it, but it comes instead to Garcia, lofted over the top to chase Bamadelli, and Doué, across. Doué is just hauled to the floor there, wins a free kick. Flares being lit in the Rayo section away to the right. They're nearly there. Not an achievement for this Spanish club, it would be, but game is not over. Decore though gets his pocket picked on halfway. And then Lejeune will just find the feet of Valentin. Little flick around the corner towards Baliou, doesn't work out. And it's a throw in inside the Rayo half. Here's Godot for Strasbourg. Just slightly overruns it, but Moreira is there to pick up the pieces. Diego Moreira now overruns it himself and then crashes into Valentin on halfway, who goes down. Moreira, of course, on the yellow. Referee wave play on. Omo Bamadele has gone to play centre forward for Strasbourg. Here's Amo Amayal. Doué on his outside. Amo Amayal going himself for the moment. Down towards the end line, looking to get the cross in. It's blocked and cleared only as far as Ouattara. 30 yards from goal. Unleashes the strike. It's just over. He's unlucky there, Ouattara. Nicely set up. Dipping right-footed effort. Bataya did look worried, but it didn't quite dip enough. And it's over the bar. 90 minutes have been played here in Strasbourg. Just waiting on the additional time. 6 minutes added here at the end. 6 minutes between Rayo and their first ever European final. Bataya clears long. Ouattara wins it in the air. Diaz sends it back. Decore nods it down. Moreira. Strasbourg need to get this forward. They've 6 minutes to find 2 goals to send this to extra time. And Ciso nods it on. Godot inside the Strasbourg half. Just crowded by red shirts along this left-hand sideline. Just runs out of room. Lejeune across to make the tackle. A throw in for the home side. Nanasi into Godot again. Twists and turns. And then finds Nanasi once more. Barco now along this left-hand side. Can he get a cross in? It's deflected at the near post, and Bataya just had to tip it over his own crossbar. It looped high into the sky. And nearly dropped in. Here's the corner kick. Nearly everyone up for Strasbourg, bar the goalkeeper. Here comes Penders. Barco into the back post. Decore wins the first header. Doué in there. They clear it to the edge. Godot sends it back. Doué on the turn. It's blocked. They want the handball penalty. Penalties to Strasbourg. Referee points to the spot straight away. It was Doué with the effort toward goal, and it comes off a hand. We have late drama here. Ball floated to the back. Decore wins the first header. It's headed back by Camelo. And then it's off the arm of Valentin as Doué turned to strike toward goal. Left arm is slightly outstretched. I think it comes off his own player first. Oscar Valentin penalised. But referee sure of his decision. And it's been confirmed. So in the second minute of additional time, Strasbourg have a chance to get back into this and force a seriously dramatic final few moments. Julio and Ciso waiting to take. Rayo players around the penalty spot trying to put him off. Omo Bamadele and Decore in there as well, trying to defend their teammate. Cease having words with Bataya, who has in turn been spoken to by the referee. And Ciso against Bataya. 2 South Americans face off. Can Julio and Ciso convert in the 3rd minute of additional time here to give Strasbourg life in the semi-final? And Ciso steps up, right footed, it's saved by Bataya. Rebound by Decore, saved again. Still not there. Decore digs across out, it's blocked. And now the counter is on for Rayo. It's 3-on-3. Can they pick the right pass? Camelo out to the right, cut out by Moreira. But then Ciso denied by Bataya in stoppage time. Strasbourg in possession. Down to his right. Bataya makes the save, and then it's a brilliant stop from the rebound as well. There's a Rayo player down on this near side. Strasbourg continue to play. Here's Barco. Godot on this left wing. Cuts inside onto his right foot. cross is blocked by Valentin, who shouts in celebration. Another Rayo player down in the box. We play on. Gatto digs across to the far post. Keeper comes, punches clear. Ouattara picks it up on the edge of the box. Heavy touch from him. Still there though for Moreira. Long arching ball forward. Headed down. Gatto gets it on the ball for Strasbourg. 25 yards from goal. Challenges flying in. Referee says play on. Here's Nanasi. Barco free on this left hand side. Nanasi whips it in himself towards the middle. Over on Bamidele's head. Cease clears. Sent back in by Moreira. Cease wins it in the air again. Last ditch stuff. Here's Amo Amaya on the right hand side for Strasbourg, running at the fullback, left foot across into the middle. Omo Bamidele stretching, can't quite reach it. It's put behind for a corner from Cease. But we'll see the penalty again. Bataya guesses right, denies Enciso. It's not the greatest penalty from the Paraguayan, but the follow-up save is something brilliant from Decore. Barco with the corner. Penders is up again. Swung into the middle. Header flicked on by a Rayo player. Free kick given against Strasbourg. Oscar Valentin down in the penalty area. Players surrounding the referee. Omo Bamidele, I think, and Valentin clash at the back post, and Andrew Omo Bamidele might be in trouble here. Looks like a little, upon first replay, it almost looked like a little slap, but referees played on. We've almost played the 6 minutes here. And Rayo surely have this one in the bag. Crystal Palace have won the other tie. That's who will wait in the final. Another long ball forward. Free kick given for a foul on Doué. But it's deep in the Strasbourg half. Doué down, holding his shoulder, being helped to the feet by Camelo. Strasbourg get it going quickly. We've played over 6 minutes. Here's Moreira. Over to Gatto on the left-hand side. Can he get a cross in? Faced up by two Rayo defenders. Gatto, one step over, then two. Needs to get something in the box, but red shirts just flood around him. Camelo wins it back. And Rayo trying to break, but there is the full-time whistle. And it's Rayo Vallecano into the Conference League final. The first European final in the club's history. The biggest game in the club's history. Players inconsolable on the pitch. They've won the tie by 2-0. They are heading to Leipzig to face Crystal Palace in a few weeks' time. Strasbourg just not quite good enough, couldn't create enough chances. Alamau's close range finish right at the end of the first half, the difference. He got the 2 goals that sent the Spaniards to the final. Julio Enciso missed a penalty right at the death to try half the deficit, but Rayo clung on to the very end. Some last-ditch defending, some veteran gamesmanship sees them over the finish line. Strasbourg distraught. They weren't able to find the back of the net across 180 minutes, but it is Rayo Vallecano, the club from the outskirts of Madrid, who'll play Crystal Palace in the Europa Conference League final. Final score, Strasbourg 0, Rayo Vallecano 1. Thanks so much for listening.